Hi, when I see a deep bite case, there's a few things that I always want to make sure I have planned in. So you can see some of the comments that I made to the CAD designers, and I also did a lot with the 3D controls. The key that I want to see is retention attachments. When the aligner is best engaged with the arch, then every movement that we're trying to do is going to be more predictable. Intrusion is one of the most resistant movements, but not necessarily hard or not predictable. It just takes more time and making sure that we have enough support and retention of the aligner on the arch. The other thing I want to see is I want to make sure that the premolars at least are always either expanding by translating to the buccal and the buccal cusps tipping and becoming more upright. So when we see these lingually or palatally inclined premolars, I want to make sure that those are slightly tipping out. That is going to help expand the arch and then give us a nice broader arch form at the finish. Moving the molars in this case is only going to reduce the anchorage that we would have. You can do molar movement, but that would be a separate stage and probably a separate video explanation. I can see why these blue and dot movements would be concerning. So we look at what they are. So these are intrusion, and that's really not a concern because the teeth need to intrude that far. So this is just telling you that these are larger degrees of movement. So how do we make sure that that happens? Making sure we have retention at least on 2 premolars, and I wouldn't mind extending this onto another rectangular retention attachment on the first molar just to make sure we have that really locked in nicely, because as the aligner goes from curved to flatter, there's resistance up here, and so the arch may still have a curve even though the aligner doesn't, so it wants to pop off the back of the arch. So you can request that with the CAD designers or just drag and drop a rectangle, horizontal rectangle on the molars with the 3D controls. So these are just movements that are just going to take more time. Using things like munchies or vibration can help ensure that, but just really making sure we don't have any other distracting movements like some rotations on the premolars. That's just really not something that's going to be key for the case. We look at the lower left canine, and it's a root movement. So mesiodistal root movements are things I don't want to see, and it looks like this root is staying kind of right where it is, but going from buccal inclination to lingual inclination. Yeah, that's something that's going to be a little bit more hard to do because you're taking a root and trying to move it through bone, but might as well put the pressure of the aligner on that tooth to improve the situation. I always want to have bite ramps on my cases to prevent the molars from passively intruding as treatment goes on, but it also will be an external force for the lower teeth to rest onto these upper centrals and help with that intrusion, just the patient's own bite force to help that. I don't mind this being a big anterior open bite at the finish because I know that the intrusion movements are going to lag behind, and so it's going to look a lot closer of a overjet and less of an overbite clinically than what we see here, but certainly add the pressure in for success. Thanks so much.